Hey, what's up there, YouTubers? It's me again, Brian, aka Gamer55551. Excuse me. And I am back with a video review. And for this review, we're going to be taking a look at Zombie Army 4 for the PlayStation 4. Game's also available on the Xbox One. It's also available on a PC. However, it's right now a time exclusive on the Epic Game Store. So if you want to play the PC version, it looks like you're going to have to play through the Epic Game Store. I know some people don't mind that. Some people do, but it is what it is right now. And if you're interested in any gameplay footage of me playing the PS4 version of Zombie Army 4, I'll have a link down in the description down below, and you can check the gameplay footage out. When people think of the development team Rebellion, the one name that pops up, or at least the one that pops up to my head, is the Sniper Elite series. excuse me with my throat. This is a series I definitely like, though. It's basically a World War II shooter, but taking it in a different route. Rather than being like what a game like Battlefield 5 or what Call of Duty is, that series focuses heavily on stealth and basically how do you approach certain situations, ranging from using your sniper rifle to setting up booby traps and so forth. And it is a very fun series. The series has recently made its way over to the Nintendo Switch with Sniper Elite 2 and 3. This PS4 has had Sniper Elite 4, and not to mention Xbox One and PC, and we know that Sniper Elite 5 is coming as well. But they've also done a spin-off of the Sniper Elite series, often referred to as the Zombie Army series. Now, this started out as sort of a DLC for, I think, the Sniper Elite series. I think started in Sniper Elite 2 or version 2, and then later spawned its own game, which is the Sniper Elite Trilogy, which had all the campaigns, including ones that never were released as a download. The game was released on the PS4, the Xbox One, PC, and currently right now for the Nintendo Switch. Well, now we have a new entry in it entitled the Zombie Army 4, a sequel to the first Zombie Army trilogy, or best way to say it, if the Zombie Army trilogy had Zombie Army 1, 2, and 3, this is the fourth entry, depending on how you look at it though. And while the series may or may not appeal to everyone, it still maintains what I liked about the Zombie Army trilogy games, though, and that is that fun, guilty pleasure, and this one still maintains that. So why don't we get started with the pros and cons, and we'll start first with the pros. And the first one has to do with the story, and honestly, the story basically is over the top and all that stuff. Oh, excuse me. Excuse me. I'm trying to clear my throat. Basically, the story, like I said, it's something like ripped out of like a Quentin Tarantino movie, especially like if those who may remember the one he did, Planet Terror and all. You kind of get that Quentin Tarantino grindhouse vibe to it. The whole story takes place after the events of Zombie Army trilogy, and you have to deal with the undead Nazis that still roam around Europe and all that stuff. Though, I mean, it's a bizarre story. It doesn't take itself seriously. Even the voice acting can be entertaining and cheesy. One of the characters, I think, that I'm playing acts like he's serious, but the way he sounds just makes it sound a little bit over the top, but that's kind of the charm to it. And I like that it still maintains that over the top story into the game, battling those Nazi zombies and so forth. So it is definitely, as far as stories goes, it's not going to be something serious. It's not going to be as memorable as like Final Fantasy or anything like that, but it has a charm to it, and that's definitely a good thing. Next thing I want to talk about is the gameplay, and the gameplay in Zombie Army 4 is fun. Now, where Sniper Elite is more about, stealth and sort of try different ways to deal with the enemies or deal with the Nazi soldiers, Zombie Army is more action orientated. You don't have as much of a stealth like you would in Zombie Army 4. That said, some gameplay elements from the Sniper Elite series are still in here, and that is, using the sniper rifle to take out the enemies. There are now different booby traps you can use. You can even set up like mines, use like grenades, tripwires, and all to set up like traps to go after, to deal with the zombie Nazis. And of course, let's also not forget the famous kill cam. This is the one where if you aim for a certain part of the body, though, you'll see the camera, see the bullet fly straight down and see the infamous X-ray kill cam where you did damage to the enemy and so forth. So that all still remains, but in a different approach. And this one basically also has a lot of, this time you feel there's a story to it, as I mentioned, though this time around you use less characters and all, and there's also a mission-based structure and all that stuff. It's not open world like what Sniper Elite 4 is in any way, but it is still enjoyable nevertheless though. So the game, from a gameplay perspective, it's still fun. And I forgot to mention, they also added some new abilities such as the melee attacks, where this time around you could fill up a certain meter where you could do special melee moves to a takedown, which not only you see this interesting animation of taking down the enemies, but it also refills your health, to other special features like the ability to slow down time while you take out the enemies though. So they added some new stuff, but nevertheless, as I mentioned before, the gameplay, in my view, is fun. Even though I'm playing this as a single player, you can still do this co-op and online, but even from a single player experience, I still had fun with this game. Okay, we're going to take a quick break, and when we get back, we'll get to part 2, which are the cons. So take a quick break, and we will be right back. Okay, and we are back with part 2 of our video review of Zombie Army 4 for the PlayStation 4. So now that I gave you the pros, why don't we get started with the cons? And like the pros though, I only have 2 cons to talk about. So, and both of these are, I don't think they're huge or anything like that, but it's worth pointing out though. We'll start off, first one has to do with the visuals of the game. And I mean, the visuals of the game aren't necessarily terrible or awful or anything like that. They're just nothing spectacular. If you're looking for something like visually impressive, like whether it's the Final Fantasy remake or Null NIO, no, I think yeah, NIOH or Null 1 or 2 or anything like that, you're not going to find it here though. I mean, the visuals just don't look anything spectacular and all that stuff. Or anything like that. I mean, again, not terrible, not awful or anything like that, but don't expect that the visuals to have something to write home about or anything like that. And last but not least, I do have one issue, and that has to do with sort of moving your character and all that stuff. Now, I do want to say, based on my time with the game isn't broken or anything like that, but I do feel that moving your character does feel a little awkward though. I mean, some of the controls in the game, at least when it comes to the movement of your character, does feel a little bit odd at times though. I just find it can be a little difficult at times to, not all the times, but difficult sometimes to move your character, but not to the point that it's like unplayable or anything like that. I didn't find myself in a reason where it felt like the controls were broken or anything like that. It just felt like moving your character felt a little awkward in a way and all that stuff. It's not tank controls or anything like that like it is in the old Resident Evil game or anything like that. But it's just, like I mentioned, I know being a dead horse saying this, it just feels odd in a way. Overall, I would say Zombie Army 4 is still a fun game though, even though it may not appeal for everyone. Don't go into Zombie Army 4 thinking it's going to be like a survival horror in the way like the Resident Evil games or anything like that. Zombie Army is more like a guilty pleasure type of game. It's one of those, it's over the top though, but it still has its charm and all that stuff. Again, the story has its charm, it's over the top but still enjoyable, and the gameplay is still fun. Some people will say that it's more fun when you have more players and all that stuff, and that might be true since this is also a co-op game, but as far as playing it as a solo experience, I had some fun with it though. It still maintains a lot of that Sniper Elite vibe to it though. It still has all the stuff that Sniper Elite is famous for, except that it's more action oriented than say what's Sniper Elite, which is more stealth oriented though. Either way, If you liked the Zombie Army trilogy, though, you'll probably like Zombie Army 4. It's more the same to a certain degree. They added some new stuff here and there, but if you've enjoyed those games, you'll like Zombie Army 4. And having enjoyed the Zombie Army trilogy, this one is still worth getting. This one is, I think, worth checking out, especially regardless of what your system of choice is, whether it's on the PC, Xbox One, or PS4. So overall, I did enjoy Zombie Army 4. Okay, this concludes my video review of Zombie Army 4 for the PlayStation 4. And again, these are my opinion. What are yours? What are your thoughts about Zombie Army 4? Have you tried the game out yet? Do you enjoy the gameplay in the game, which takes certain elements from the Sniper Elite series? Did you think the story is over the top but still enjoyable? Do you like what I said in this video? Did you not like what I said? Do you have a difference of opinion for what I said in my review of Zombie Army 4? As always, sound off on the comment section below. Let me know what you think. And if you like this video, I hope you hit that like button. I would appreciate it. And I hope you do subscribe to my YouTube channel. If you do, make sure you hit the bell icon for notifications of any new videos I put up. Also, feel free to share this video if you want to, and feel free to donate to my channel if you like. You can do it through PayPal me or Patreon. Links will be in the description down below. And I will see you again next time when I do another video. Hopefully that'll be soon. Until then, from Southern California, I wish you all a good day. Bye!